Hey sports fans, have you ever wondered who the shortest NFL player is right now, or who the shortest players have been throughout football's history? Well, there have been plenty because the lack of height can actually provide an advantage in the NFL. For many on our list, that is the case for our short guy list that contains some surprising facts and figures, so grab your popcorn and let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, we have Maurice Jones-Drew, measuring in at 5'7". The versatile offensive players coming after Maurice Jones-Drew on this list perhaps needed only another inch or two, plus another 15 to 20 pounds. Maurice had those necessary additions, and with Darren Sproles belongs at the top of the talent here. Following a spectacular career at UCLA, Maurice was selected in the second round by the Jacksonville Jaguars and carved out an impactful 9-year career. In addition to his 79 rushing and receiving touchdowns, Maurice brought back a 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in his rookie season and added a 100-yard kickoff return in his following year. The 2011 season was the biggest point in Maurice's career. He played all 16 games and averaged 100 yards per game with his 343 carries and 1,606 yards leading the NFL. He was voted first team All-Pro and capped a run of 3 consecutive Pro Bowl honors. How important was he to his team? In 8 games, he produced at least 50% of the Jaguars' offense. Maurice finished his career playing 1 season for the Oakland Raiders. He's now a veteran in the world of football broadcasting, a career that cares very little about a man's height. At number 9, we have Mark McMillan. He's also 5'7". It is easy to see why Mark McMillan, the shortest NFL player in history who played defense, had a chip on his shoulder. First, the position of quarterback, the most visible and vulnerable. You're defending a guy who is usually every bit as athletic as you are, but he knows where he's going. You have to determine that for yourself. Second, you have to hit people. Tackling is important, and McMillan, whose nickname was Mighty Mouse, tells you all you need to know about how he played. He was fearless. Third, McMillan was a 10th round selection in the NFL draft. They don't even have 10 rounds anymore. It's a 7-round process these days. McMillan turned all that into motivation, resulting in a long career, 1992 to 1999, with Philadelphia, New Orleans, Kansas City, San Francisco, and Washington. With Kansas City in 1997, McMillan snared 8 interceptions, tied for second that season, with 3 of the 8 going for a pick 6. That's an interception returned for a touchdown. McMillan played in 127 games and pulled down 23 interceptions. At number 8, we have J.J. Taylor coming in at 5'6". The theme continues with our shortest NFL players and their similarities. J.J. Taylor has additional reason for perceived disrespect. He wasn't even drafted. Taylor was a standout in Tucson at the University of Arizona, but conventional wisdom said he couldn't translate his many skills into an NFL career. Taylor signed with the New England Patriots and made a brief but exciting career out of it. He scored 2 touchdowns and rushed for 156 yards with New England, adding 6 passing receptions, 1 punt return, and 5 kickoff returns for 112 yards. Released by the Patriots before the 2023 season, Taylor was signed to the Houston Texans practice squad, where he hopes to prove he's not too short to contribute. And next in the line of short and dynamic runners is number 7, Tarik Cohen, also at a towering 5'6", whose promising career has been derailed by devastating injuries. Selected by the Chicago Bears in the 4th round of the 2017 draft, based in part on his 4.42 combine time in the 40, Cohen immediately became a nice complement to the running back room and a force on kickoff and punt return teams. In 2018, the versatile Cohen made first team All-Pro and led the league with 33 punt returns for 411 yards. He also caught 71 passes, including 5 touchdowns. Officially a running back, Cohen gained 444 yards and scored 3 rushing touchdowns. Was there anything this height challenge player couldn't do? Well, he added a touchdown pass that season, 1 of 2 career touchdown throws for Cohen. Since the end of 2019, however, a series of major injuries have all but ended his hopes of continuing in the NFL. The Bears cut him in March of 2022. He refused to walk any, though, and signed to the Carolina Panthers practice squad in September 2023. Further injury trouble sidelined him for the season, and Cohen's NFL future remains up in the air entering the 2024-2025 season. Coming in at number 6, also at 5'6", Jakeem Grant. He was a 6th rounder in 2016, a quick and elusive runner, and he's also been nicknamed Mighty Mouse during his NFL career. Grant started 8 of 81 games, primarily as a receiver, 100 catches through 2023. He also has returned 4 punts and 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. The Texas Tech speedster made the Pro Bowl in 2021 while playing for the Miami Dolphins and Chicago Bears. Not quite ready to close the book on his career, Grant, now 30, was trying to make the Cleveland Browns roster when he compounded the frustrations from an Achilles injury a year before by suffering a ruptured tibial tendon during the 2023 preseason. Injury also cost Grant in 2018 when he had delivered a 102-yard return of a kickoff and a punt return touchdown for 70 yards. He was done for the season following a leg injury in Week 10. Grant holds the Dolphins' records for most career punt returns for a touchdown, which is 3. At number 5, we have Jacquizz Rodgers, also 5'6", an elusive and surprisingly powerful running back at Oregon State. Jacquizz was selected in the 5th round of the 2011 draft by the Atlanta Falcons and played 4 seasons there. He flexed his staying power by playing another 4 seasons, 1 with the Chicago Bears and another 3 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rodgers compiled a career average of 3.8 yards per carry while scoring 9 rushing touchdowns to complement 5 touchdown receptions. This mighty mite caught 216 passes in his NFL career and rushed for more than 2,000 yards. And at number 4, Darren Sproles comes in at our favorite 5'6". The most accomplished NFL player on this list, Sproles played 14 seasons at football's highest level. For the 4th round pick in the NFL draft in 2005, he has paid major dividends for his employers despite Darren Sproles' height. He posted a career mark of 4.9 yards per carry with the Chargers, Saints, and Eagles, scored 23 rushing touchdowns, and was amongst the leading receivers for the running back position. Sproles caught 553 passes for nearly 5,000 yards with 32 touchdowns. With his 9 return touchdowns, 7 punt returns, 2 kickoff returns, and all the return yardage, Sproles is on a select list. Since 1945, here are the NFL leaders in all-purpose yardage: Jerry Rice, Brian Mitchell, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Frank Gore, and Darren Sproles. Yep, he's the best player on our list of shortest NFL players, but he still only comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have the tiny Deuce Vaughn at 5'5". Selected in the 6th round of the 2023 NFL Draft by the Dallas Cowboys, Vaughn came into the league with big-time accomplishments from his years at Kansas State. There was plenty of discussion on the topic of Deuce Vaughn's height. He measured in at 5'5" at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, a record. He's listed at 5'6" with the Cowboys and at NFL.com, but I don't think he grew an inch at age 22. He's 5'5". His rookie season wasn't what Vaughn had hoped for. However, he completed an injury-filled campaign with 23 carries for only 40 yards in 7 games. Coming in at number 2, also at 5'5", we have Trendon Holiday. Trendon Holiday was always short and quick, and he used those attributes to make it all the way to the NFL. Holiday was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and went to LSU, where he was also a track star for the Tigers. Selected in the 6th round of the 2010 draft by the Houston Texans, he played in 33 games over the course of 4 years and was employed primarily as a kick returner and punt returner, specialty positions for the speedy and quick. Technically a wide receiver, he caught 2 passes in his NFL career. Holiday made his living returning kicks and punts. He scored 2 touchdowns on punt returns and led the NFL in punt return yardage in 2012 with the Denver Broncos. He also scored 2 touchdowns on kickoff returns. Both were highlight-worthy of 105 yards each. Holiday was not the shortest NFL player, but he was probably the best player of the 5'5" or shorter category. Before we get into the number 1 spot, I want to introduce our honorable mentions. First, we have 2 active quarterbacks, both standing at 5'10", we have Kyler Murray and Bryce Young. Both young talents with great careers in front of them. We also have the shortest active linebacker, MR.BEAST Jr. at a height of 5'10". He could also have a very great career. Coming in at number 1, we have Jack "Soupy" Shapiro at a neck-breaking 5'1". Born in New York City in 1907, Shapiro likely had every reason to feel he had to prove himself. Various accounts say he worked with a brother and their father to earn $9 per week to pay for food and shelter. To that point, his nickname Soupy, incorrectly posted in some circles as Soapy, points to his affection for soup. On the field, Shapiro walked on at New York University as a running back. He then played at least one game for the Staten Island Stapletons, beginning his reign as the shortest player in the NFL, a title that he owns to this day. Game records indicate Shapiro was a blocking back rather than a featured running back in that 34-0 win over the Minneapolis Red Jackets. Other accounts say Shapiro later referenced playing in 2 more NFL games, a rematch with the Red Jackets, and a matchup with the Orange Tornadoes. Soupy is far from anonymous, accepting the NFL's alumni's Norm Van Brocklin Award for Outstanding Achievements in 1995. Pete Brown, who played in the 1950s, said at the ceremony that Shapiro was the all-time Tom Thumb in the NFL's history and credited Shapiro for setting an example that everyone can achieve their dream. Shapiro is not a name that comes easily to mind when the subject is football, but he is the smallest NFL player in history. So to recap, size matters in today's NFL, but strategic size is important too. Kick returners and wide receivers have seen benefits from being short, with quickness and elusiveness among the prime benefits to their lack of stature. The players who are short, even for their positions, have attributes that compensate for any vertical shortcomings. These guys show their intangibles necessary to excel even if undersized. There are countless examples of players who proved you don't have to be tall to play in the NFL.